So today we're going to go do a grounding meditation. I'm going to share my story, the origin of Saturn. We'll talk about your report for those who are joining for the first time. This is your first free career astrology workshop. You may not know what your report is based off of. So I'm going to quickly go over the different components. So if there was a part that really stood out to you, you'll be able to clearly see, oh, it's because she's talking about Saturn or the midheaven or et cetera, right? And then we're going to dive into your personal board of directors, and I'll leave some time for Q&A. But let's get started with that grounding meditation. So wherever you are, I want you to root down through your sit bones, through your feet, and just start to roll your shoulders back a few times, then forward, then one more time up and down the back, and press your shoulder blades together to create some openness in the heart center in the chest. If your eyes aren't closed, I invite you to close your eyes. Notice how you are feeling this evening. Notice the quality of your breath. Notice how the clothing sits on your body. Feel your shoulders move down and away from the ears, and with each breath in, feeling more at ease. And can you lengthen your inhales? And can you make your exhales longer than your inhales? Notice the rise and fall of your body with each breath in and each breath out. Feel a deep sense of ease wash over you with your inhales, and with your exhales, releasing something that doesn't serve you. And as you slow the breath down, you'll notice your mind and your body will slow down as well. You're signaling to yourself that everything is good and that you are safe. We'll start with 3 cleansing breaths. As you empty the breath out, take a deep breath in through the nose and an audible exhale out through the mouth. Take a deep breath in through the nose and an audible exhale out through your mouth. Another deep breath in through the nose. Hold it at the top. Take another sip of breath in and let it go out through the mouth. And seal the lips and start to breathe in and out through the nose. Feel the breath move through the back of the throat, down the length of the spine, and into the belly. I invite you to set an intention for our session this evening or whenever you're listening to it. Allow it to organically come into your consciousness. If you need some inspiration, I invite you to be open curious, and most importantly, to have fun. The insights you are meant to receive will come through clearly. And when you feel ready, let your intention float away with your next exhale. Bringing your hands to heart center, start to rub your palms together, creating some heat, creating some friction. Place your hands over your face and feel that warmth radiate towards you. As you're ready, gently open your eyes, coming back to the present moment and the present space. Okay, welcome back, everyone. So, I'm going to share my story and how I created Saturn. I think it's always nice to have a bit of background. So, I haven't always been an astrologer. I studied communications at Boston University, and when I graduated, I went and worked in Shanghai in social media, digital marketing, PR. And at that time, my career was moving very quickly. It was really the start of social media in China. I was working in hospitality, and then I went to a PR agency. And really, just everything was looking great on paper, but it didn't really feel right. And it didn't really feel right because I was about to start my Saturn return and I was doing things from a place of, oh, this is what's practical. This is what I should be doing. This is a good job. This like makes sense versus really understanding like my values, exploring what those might be, independent of what I've been told by my parents and family and friends and society, and really understanding like what would make me happy, what would really light me up, and allow me to be more in my zone of genius. And so your Saturn return happens in your late 20s, early 30s. It's very much so an existential period of time. Saturn is currently in Pisces. So if you see Saturn in Pisces on your report, so in that chart properties, that second page, then you're going through your Saturn return. It can be a little challenging, but really things are for your highest good. It's just a lot of change and a lot of maturity. I mean, that's the planet of Saturn. And so during this time, I'd come back to the US. I had started an e-commerce business with some friends, and it was a step in the right direction, but it wasn't it. And as I got into a daily yoga practice, started to meditate, practice mindfulness, and look into astrology as well as many other modalities, I began to recognize I'm like, wow, this stuff is like really powerful. I really like it. And I think I should share this with others because this is a really big deal. It helped me put all the pieces together. And at that point, I just started therapy. And what I say now is astrology is really a beautiful tool for self introspection, reflection, and therapy. It makes it a lot easier when you kind of can read and see and explore and Google and research, listen to different viewpoints on the different aspects of who you are. And if they're sharing it, if they're speaking it, that means you're not alone. Other people feel it. And this is one of the reasons why I started Saturn. So I actually had uh like an intuitive message and download, just like a thought at the start of the Taurus Scorpio nodal cycle at the fall of 2021. Yeah, 2021, I was like, wow, I think I should make this app or website that makes like astrology really practical and helps people with their career. And I really wasn't ready to ground that idea into reality yet. But within 12 months, I was like, I really want to do this. I had a close friend go through um, a near-death experience, and those experiences uh, really impact people around them. And for myself, I was like, I have one life to live. I have to take advantage of this, and let me just take the risk. Let me lean into the fear and see what's on the other side. Fear and excitement are two sides of the same coin. And really, it can mean some of your greatest moments of growth. So, I want to know in the chat, share with each other if you have experienced your Saturn return, if you're currently going through it, what it was like. And so, 2 years ago I had this idea. I started the work about that time like as well ish. And the website was launched a year ago, and I wanted to make astrology more understandable by people who are new to this world and just looking for answers around career and purpose. And so that's how Saturn was born. And this is why we are here today. And I'm really excited to be sharing more about your report and how you can really call in. And they're probably in your community, in your periphery already, people in your life that will help you move forward, help you grow and expand. So, to start off, we'll go through your report. So, grab your free report, grab your expanded report, and this is your free report. If you're looking at your expanded report, this is like the summary. And the parts that are bolded are the parts that are related to different planets. So maybe take a screenshot of this, see like what really resonates with you, what you were drawn to when you initially got your report. Very curious. And I'll take a look at the chat. If you have any questions. Oh yeah, Saturn returns, they can be very tough, like breakups, marriages, like moving different countries, and then it really just allows you to be put on the right path. Yes, the cusp of a big transformation. Feel the terror slash excitement. Yes. Major shakeup for mine 15 years ago, quit law school and wanted to go into fashion, but was too scared gearing up to do it. Now at 40 as a new mom. I love that, Ariel, with period 9, which is part of feng shui, there it started on February 4th, and it's talking about the next 20-year cycle. About it's like the rise of middle-aged women, which is like between our like 30s to 50s. It's a really good time to start a business, to go after what you really want. Ah, yes, I was going to say thank you, Anne Marie. Your second Saturn return is your mid to late 50s, and the third one's in your mid to late 80s. It is a lot of change, and your second one is really about creating a legacy. It's not as hard as the first one because you remember those lessons. Okay, so yes, your Saturn returns in Aquarius. I know that anyone who has Aquarius on their chart show up more than like 3 times, as well as the number 11 in the house column. You are probably feeling a lot right now because Pluto is in Aquarius, so it's activating even more change, and really inviting you to lean into the weird parts of yourself, because it's a very quirky, innovative, it just does whatever it wants. And if you're a people pleaser, if you care about what other people think, this is some of the friction that you might feel with Aquarius in your chart. Ah, your first Saturn turn brought so much joy in traveling internationally with their parents back to their home country. Major wake up, such eye-opening experience. Deep identity work. Love that. Okay, so take a look. This is what's on your well, for your free career astrology report. Take a screenshot. We'll come back to it later. Okay, astrology basics. I think it's always really important to talk about your sun, your moon, and your rising. And we're actually talking about none of these things. This is kind of like, I guess, like a 201 workshop, if you will. But your sun is your identity, it's who you are. Your moon is your inner world, your emotional world, your inner child, what you need to self-soothe and self-care. And rising is how you view the world and how other people see you. It's like the lens in which you view the world. It's like your version of reality. And for myself, I'll give my examples. I'm a Leo sun, so I really enjoy being in the spotlight. Sometimes I feel a little bit embarrassed to say that. But Leos, they're very entertainment focused. They can be in sales and marketing roles. They're also really great coaches. And I really enjoy empowering people as well. And Leos really enjoy compliments. We always kind of like want to hear like how we are being good friends or how we're doing the right thing. And my moon and my rising are actually in the same sign. It is in Capricorn. So something that I never understood until I got into astrology was why everyone always said, "Oh, like I just feel so calm around you. Do you ever feel stressed?" And I'm like, "Is this a joke?" Yes, I'm currently anxious and stressed right now. But because my moon is in an earth sign, our sign being Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, you always have that grounded, sometimes serious element to you. So people just feel very safe around you. Like you kind of just have your shit together. And then my rising sign is, when people first meet me and I'm like, "Oh, hey, I'm an astrologer." They're like, "Wow, didn't really expect that from you. Thought you like, you're like, working a corporate job." Like, yes, I did work for in a corporate job for a long time, but they're just like, "Wow, didn't really expect you to be like doing something that is so out there." But I also view the world in like a very like material way of like, like this is what exists. This is what you need to kind of feel safe. You need to have like a stable job, or rather a stable mindset of like how you can earn money and how you can welcome in income streams. And I view career as very important. Like most of my conversations are always going to be around like, "Oh, like how is work? How is your business going? What business ideas do you have?" Like that's just my natural inclination. And Capricorn is the sign of career. So I really am doing what my chart says I need to be doing. Okay, so now we're going to talk about a board of directors. Just to make sure we're all on the same page as defining a board of directors, this is the definition from Investopedia. A board of directors is a governing body of a company. They set strategy, oversee management, and protect the interests of shareholders and stakeholders. So they're really kind of like the broader strategy and kind of like the business operations, kind of like, okay, this year we're investing X amount of dollars. Who are we going to hire as a CFO, CEO? What's going to make us, in this case, for the interests of shareholders and stakeholders, going to make us the most money? What's going to look good for us as a business? And when it comes to your personal board of directors, this is the definition that I have created for us. It's a group of advisors who will help you recognize your gifts, understand what is holding you back, help you stay accountable to your truth and purpose in this lifetime. These people, in their own unique ways, they help you reach your fullest potential and your most authentic expression. So think of yourself as a quote unquote like business. These people, will set time up with them. It could be on a weekly basis. It could be monthly. It could be on an annual basis. Maybe it's only texting. Maybe it's only email. Maybe one person serves a lot of different things. They are going to be helping you in what areas you really need help in this season of life that you are in. So if you are going through a Saturn return, whether it's your first one, your second one, or your third one, you're probably going to want someone who is a bit of like a spiritual advisor or a healer, a life coach, someone that can help you navigate some of the more um spiritual things that can happen during a Saturn return. Oftentimes people experience a spiritual awakening, which really just means like you are coming home to yourself and recognizing, hey, this is who I am, and how do I reconcile who I think I am, who I really am, and how others view me, because like very few people see like the 360 view of who you are. So, the three people you need in your circle. I know that many people probably have heard that you are the sum of the five people that you are closest with. And today, to keep it like manageable, I decided to just have three people that I will recommend that you kind of keep regularly in your circles. Some people, the cadence of connection, like might be very often, sometimes it's not as often, but you'll kind of see what feels right for you. So I'm going to talk about three people you need in your circle: the mentor, the expander, and the collaborator. So again, the mentor, the expander, and the collaborator. And this is the match in terms of the astrology. So the mentor is going to be sometimes like someone who matches up with your North Node placement. So looking at your free career astrology report or your expanded report, and look at your North Node placement and look at your midheaven placement. This is going to be the mentor. This is someone who has kind of achieved success, someone that you admire. They've kind of gotten to where you want to be, or they exude the qualities that you would like to embody in a couple years time, or you're looking to embody. The expander is the North Node. And this is someone who is going to allow you to see more than what you can currently see, and to recognize that you can change and that you can push some of the edges of who you are, your abilities, your skills, and the amount that you think that you're able to handle, whether it's work wise, trying new things, emotional, whatever it may be. This is going to be the North Node. The collaborator is someone that I feel like you're going to be regularly engaging with on a weekly or monthly basis, versus the mentor might be someone like a couple times a year. The expander could honestly be someone that you don't interact with a lot, but you see their content like on social media, or you read their newsletter, or listen to their podcast. I want you to really kind of release any expectations of how you're going to be engaging with this quote unquote like personal board of directors. Because sometimes we may think like, oh, I have to interact with them like a lot, or I have to kind of like ask them a lot of questions. Sometimes we're not able to do that. And so I don't want you to kind of be limited by that. And just thinking, okay, who are some of these people already in my life? And yes, I do feel like I want to like add in more collaborators. And what does that look like? And that is going to be the planet Venus. And a collaborator is someone that you can, they're almost like a peer. They are someone who like operates similar to you. They have the same values, and potentially also some of the same talents and gifts. So it's like, it's almost like they're in your same cohort, like you're growing together. Like oftentimes when um what I've seen is like a group of people will start businesses at the same time, and they all become friends, and you kind of see them like collaborating with one another. You see them posting on social media. This is this collaborator person that is represented by the planet Venus. These are the people that you're all kind of coming up around the same time and at the similar growth stage. So an example being like you could all be in like your Saturn return. You could all like be mothers, like new mothers. You could be experiencing your second Saturn return. You could have just recently gone through a divorce. Just like some of these people are going to be the same cohort, like kind of like life stages, but also going further, you're sharing a specific characteristic, which is going to be Venus. So I'm going to dive in a little bit more, and don't worry, we'll have time to kind of find your placements as well. And I'll be able to go back to any of these slides. So the mentor, I think it's going to be a little bit more midheaven, but I also feel like the North Node fits as well. So your midheaven placement talks about how you achieve success and public image. An example for me is my midheaven is in Scorpio. So the way that I'm going to find success is that I'm able to like deeply see people, see the healing that they need, and uh also amass in a lot of different data and be quite investigative in how I move through my career. And I definitely have done that in terms of illuminating things that people don't really realize. I'm like, oh, like looking at their astrology, have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? It's very eye opening. And sometimes it can be a bit triggering as well because I am showing the truth. Scorpio is a big sign of truth. It's a truth seeker. In terms of like public image, being known as someone who helps others transform and helps them through those transformational stages of like death and rebirth, starting something new, doing deep healing, um, and also things related to like resources and power and how to feel more powerful as well. So that's my example. And so for me, it would be very helpful for me to find someone who has already achieved this kind of like transformational, what's the right term? Effect on people. So I look at what like Gabby Bernstein is doing. I'm blanking on some other people. I just kind of like see their emails come through. I see like when they're like social media posts, and I'm like, oh, like how are they going about things? Like, what are they offering? How are they speaking like in their videos, like in their emails, and kind of also charting and reading about how they started and their growth trajectory. Next up, we have the expander. This is the North Node, life lessons, purpose, and growth areas. For most of us, the North Node is going to be a tricky placement because the South Node, which is opposite of the North Node, is what you're comfortable with. You've done many lifetimes in these roles, exuding these characteristics, being in these types of jobs, but now you're being asked to explore jobs and skills and characteristics that reflect the North Node. And at times, it's such a big difference, big change, that it is such an opportunity for growth. My example is that my North Node is in Pisces, meaning my South Node is in Virgo. Virgo is a sign that is very regimented. It's very detail oriented. It's structured. It likes to know where it's going. It just enjoys like, okay, at 6 p.m. I'm doing this. On Saturday, I have these plans and whatnot. It can be rigid at times. Versus Pisces is very like free flowing, intuitive, following the divine feminine, very creative and very psychic as well, and very imaginative. It's like going from an operational role behind the scenes fixing things to becoming the talent, and being like the artist. So for me it has been very difficult, but if I'm able to find someone who is a Pisces. So I have been calling in these last few years more people who are Pisces, whether it's like sun, moon, or rising. I think that's very important. And with like the midheaven, I would also recommend finding someone who's like a sun, moon, rising in your midheaven sign. So don't worry, we're gonna figure out your signs and how to find your midheaven. And for me, when I am connecting with people who are Pisces, they're already super creative. They're very intuitive. They like are less scheduled. And so having those people are really good influencers, a really good influence in my life, and allows me to expand and see like, oh yeah, there are different ways of like living and doing things. And if someone else can be like a little bit more free flowing, less scheduled and very creative, and can live and thrive off their creativity, then I can too. The collaborator. So this is Venus, your natural gifts and people you are drawn to. Venus is a really great sign for you to, it's like naturally every time I do a reading, like I tell people, I'm like, oh, your Venus is in Pisces, your Venus is in Capricorn. You probably have a lot of these types of people in your life. And this is like the qualities of a Capricorn, if their Venus is in Capricorn, are things that people come to you for. And it's just so funny every time I have these conversations, even for myself. My Venus is in Gemini, and I didn't know this, but natural gift of speaking, of amalgamating a lot of information, of being that person that's like, oh, yeah, I know someone for this, or like, have you seen this cool article? I really enjoy mental stimulation. This is a sign that is also very good at writing as well. And one day I hope to like write a book or publish like a journal. But so far, I have written so many different types of workbooks, and people really enjoy my workbooks. And it showcases how I can make money. If you came to the last workshop, then you know that I covered like Venus and the second house and how that can become your your abundance like portal. So this is also a natural way for you to make money. And with Venus and Gemini, it's kind of like you need to figure out like what's the right space. And for me, like I remember publishing like lots of different workbooks and they would sell, but not like a lot. And when I came to my idea for Saturn, generating like free reports and expanded reports, that's when things really, really changed. When I like really listened to my intuition and I was like, I think this is what people want, but I'm not sure. And so it's a big part of how I make money, the reports that I write for you guys. Okay, so now we're going to identify your placements. So I want you to go to your free or expanded career astrology report. I want you to find your North Node, your Venus, and those who have their expanded reports, your mid-heaven placement is going to be, I believe, like the third to last page. And for those who have the free report, I'm going to share how you find your mid-heaven. You ready? Okay, so you're going to look at the wheel, that circular chart, and you want to look at the symbol next to the word MC. It's usually at the top of your chart, MC, at the outer rim. And then you're going to look underneath and see what symbol that is. Okay, so find your MC and then find the symbol. And here is a handy dandy chart to match the symbol with the sign. So I'll keep it on this page for a few minutes that you can find it. And I will see if you have any questions in the chat. Oh, Pooja, yes, this is a special time for you. Sun, rising Pisces, moon in Aquarius, because Saturn's in Pisces, Pluto's in Aquarius. So lots of change and the invitation to understand yourself in a deeper way. Double moon rising here in Cap. Oh, hi, Carmen. Yes, another Capricorn friend. Okay, Heather has a question. So we aren't looking for someone with the same placements, but with those placements at their sun, moon, and rising. Yes. So you want to look at people who have their sun, moon, and rising. But sometimes, they could have the same placement as well. Like their Venus could be in Pisces, and then you guys can relate really well to one another. But specifically for Venus, I think that's really great. And even for like the expander for like the North Node, it's just what it is for the North Node is like it's like both might be a little bit unsure. So at least for the at least for the North Node, you want to find someone with a sun, moon, and rising. For the midheaven, you could find someone with sun, moon, rising, midheaven, or actually North Node as well. If it's also midheaven and North Node, you want to make sure that they might be older or they might be like farther along in their career. And then we talk about Venus is the one that can be the same placement, so both of you have Venus and Aquarius, but also if it's their sun, moon, and rising. Good question. I was going to cover that a little bit later, but it's nice to have that clarification now. Kyla, I'm a North Node Pisces and having the toughest time going from fixer to artist. I know this is pretty tough. And most people born 88 to 89 are going to be in this North Node in Pisces. It's pretty hard, but after a while, you'll find that like your intuition will communicate with you. And every time you don't listen to it, it gets louder and louder and it gets worse and worse, gets even more disastrous. I mean, I didn't listen to my intuition, I think twice, and I really got like a kick in the ass from the universe, literally, because I had like partially fractured my tailbone twice. The first time was like, you need to start this business. And then the second time was like, you need to start your podcast. It's hilarious. Northroyd Capricorn, Midheaven Sagittarius, Venus Aries. Okay, everyone's putting their things in. Good. You might be able to find some friends in here as well. I always think it's good to have some connections here. Raven says, I'm curious. Will my will to find my life purpose be heightened due to Aquarius energy? Have been feeling that since Aquarius. I think, can you elaborate a little bit more? Is your North Node in Aquarius, Raven? Please let me know. Okay. Ooh, a grand air trine. Moon in Aquarius in the second house, North Node in Gemini. Let's see. Midheaven, Libra in 10th house, 2, 6, and 10. All things related to career. Amazing. Ruby says she has something in the third. No, there isn't a 13th house. Let me write that down. Um, I've seen that this is shown up like in rare instances. So I'm gonna look at your chart. It's just something in terms of the API issue there. But I'll look at your chart again and I'll email you because it should most likely just be the 12th house. Oh, yeah. So Raven says your North Node is in Aquarius. I just left my job. Yes. So for you, it's really, really important to tap into the unique vision that you have for yourself and for the world. And if your job like doesn't give you the autonomy for that, doesn't give you the freedom for that, because Aquarius, just like Sagittarius, really care about freedom, then you will just like want to quit it. You're like, I can do this on my own. Okay. So we have your midheaven. Wonderful. And then I also have some jobs here, roles that'll help you be like, oh yeah, like if I'm looking for someone who's like a Libra, this is like maybe potential jobs that they'll have. It just makes kind of it a lot easier to find these people, to identify these people in your life. So you might want to take a screenshot of this. I'll pause here for a few minutes. See, any other questions? No worries. Bye, Ruby. Okay, and then the next slide I have is characteristics. So I'll pause here as well. Take a screenshot of this. Because I know that for those who are new to astrology, it might not make as much sense. You're like, oh, Venus and Gemini, Gemini, like what does that mean? So these two slides are to help you to understand, like, what does that mean? And for my friends who are in Los Angeles, it is a beautiful sunset, kind of like stripes of pink and purple in the sky right now. Okay, don't worry, I will come back to these as well. Okay, so now we're going to figure out your board of directors. I think a lot of you have moved ahead and done this already. So I want you to list out your midheaven, your North Node, and your Venus, and then answer these questions. And maybe you are just picking one question and journaling about that. I'm actually today feeling very called to put you into breakout rooms to kind of chat. So pick one question that you would like to focus on. And I think that the people that you'll find like in the breakout room are going to be some interesting people that you need and desire to connect with. So the idea having those three types of people, the mentor, the expander, and the collaborator, is so that you can feel like you're moving forward in your purpose and what you're meant to be learning in this lifetime. Like I said earlier in the presentation, for those who joined late, it can be very challenging for you to follow your dreams and to explore something scary when no one in your life understands or no one's done it before. You're like, who do I ask? Like, I've never done this before. And seeking these people out, whether it's people that you can like actively connect with and or people you can first like kind of like observe and follow their content on social media is going to be very important. And I find that when you're open to receiving help, when you ask the universe, you connect with your higher self and saying like, I want these types of people in my life, you shift your perspective, you shift your mindset and your actions, and magically your energy, your frequency kind of recalibrates, and you'll just magically bump into these people like at a coffee shop. Someone's going to introduce you to someone. I think it is very potent and very powerful. Bye, Kyla. Okay. So I would say for this exercise, the house placement, Molly, doesn't matter as much. We're just going to be a little bit more general. Okay, I'm going to move you into breakout sessions now. Let's see. Okay, are you ready? Gonna move into breakout rooms. It'll just be for about like 6 to 8 minutes. I want you to introduce yourselves and just kind of say like where you are, what you're looking for, maybe exchange some contact information. But I'll give you 6 to 8 minutes just to kind of connect and chat with people. I think I'll make this like a little bit smaller. Let's see. Yeah, I'll make it smaller actually, like 2 to 3 people a room. Are you ready? Let's go. Okay, let's make sure. Perfect. Open all rooms.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, I'm driving, so I can't put my camera on. I'm Hillary.
Oh, that's okay. I think uh I guess like did you not get assigned to a room? Did you get assigned? Oh, you
I,
haven't joined. You're in room 4.
okay, I'm driving, so I guess
Oh,
I will
don't worry.
when
You
I
can when
yeah,
you're
when I
stopped.
stop. Yeah,
Yes,
I'm gonna
safety
do it.
first.
Okay. Yeah. All right, thank you.
You're
Sorry.
welcome. That's okay. Welcome back. I know we're trickling in again. Hope that you found some interesting connections. There are no coincidences. I know everybody was supposed to be in this digital room this evening. And I haven't done one of these breakout sessions in a while. I used to do them a lot in my workshop. So I'm super happy to be able to facilitate that again, because I know that so many of us are looking for connection. And yeah, when somebody gets it, when you can share some of your stressors and just be like, hey, like, do you know someone? And someone's like, yes, and you find that right person, it's a beautiful thing to be seen. Oh, yay. Julia loved doing the breakout room. Okay, so These are some questions I want you to kind of revisit in the next like few days. I'm going to be sharing this replay as well. So don't worry. I know there's a lot of information, especially if you're like new to astrology. But it's something I felt was like very necessary. I know that I struggled with this when I was going through my Saturn return, when I was like kind of getting into all of this and starting my business. And my boyfriend always tells me, he's like, well, who do you have to like connect with? And really, these past like, well, this past year, I've been thinking more of like, okay, who are the people that I want to call in? And yeah, we can't do it alone. And so it's very important to find community and to find people who have done it and just to reach out to hear their story and to ask for help. So we're going to do some Q&A now.